Yo, what's going on, guys? Eham here. Today we're diving into why Marvel Rivals kinda sucks right now, or at least what's holding it back from being truly great. Alright, let's get real for a sec. Every game falls off after its peak. That's normal. We're only looking at Steam numbers here, which doesn't paint the full picture since we're missing data from other platforms. But here we can see Marvel Rivals peaked during January of 2025 at an average player count of over 300,000, with it dropping to just under 100k recently, which isn't a great thing to see, but it isn't totally unexpected either. The truth is, Marvel Rivals is doing fine, but if we care about this game, we gotta start talking about the real problems before they become permanent. Matchmaking is broken on two fronts. Marvel Rivals currently allows players to climb the ranked ladder, even with a losing record, and that is a serious problem. When you win a match in ranks like Gold, you can gain 40 to 50 elo, but if you lose, you might only drop 15 or even less. That is a wild gap. Combine that with Chrono Shield, and suddenly players who don't really understand higher level play can sneak their way into higher ranks without truly earning it. Performance should matter. Good stats and impact should help your rank, but you shouldn't be able to climb with a losing record. That just messes up the entire integrity of the matchmaking. Also, ever notice you go on crazy win streaks, then hit a wall and lose over and over? That the game is flipping a coin behind the scenes? You're not imagining it. It feels like, particularly in solo queue, there's clearly some kind of winner skew and loser skew system happening. You get stacked teammates one game, and the next game, straight up bots. It feels like the game wants you to go 50-50. Now, you can still win those cursed games with enough effort or game sense. After all, it's just players on the other side of the screen. But it shouldn't feel like you're having to fight the algorithm just to climb. The matchmaking in this game needs to be less predetermined. Installock DPS and the rise of toxic ego warriors. Let's be honest, nothing kills the vibe of a match faster than that one guy who instalocks their favorite DPS character every single game, refuses to communicate, refuses to switch, and then flames the supports when they die. In Marvel Rivals, this behavior has become way too common. You'll see someone lock in Human Torch or Spider-Man before the timer even starts, even if your team already has 3 damage dealers, and if the game starts going sideways, they're the first to start typing. This creates a toxic cycle. Someone ego locks CPS, dies repeatedly, blames the team, and either throws or goes AFK. Meanwhile, the supports, who are actually trying to win, end up catching all the heat, literally. Now look, I'm not saying don't play what you're good at. If you're cracked on a certain character, by all means play them. But if your entire identity is tied to being a solo carry, and you crumble the second you get countered or focused, you're not the problem solver you think you are. You're just a part of the noise. There's no denying it. Toxic players exist in every game. It's part of competitive environments, and most serious players understand that. But let's be real, if you're constantly tearing down your teammates, you're part of the reason people are quitting. Marvel Rivals in particular feels worse than most when it comes to toxicity, and that is a problem we can't ignore. I mean, Ninja literally quit, guys. That guy has played every competitive game under the sun, and is probably one of the biggest toxicity / rage content creators out there right now. If that doesn't say something, I don't know what does. Next, let's talk about how some of these balance decisions don't make sense. It feels like the Marvel Rivals balance team is constantly seeing half the picture. Dive comps have always been dominant, especially during Season 2.0, and support players were begging for relief after being jumped every single fight. But instead of just nerfing the core dive heroes, the devs doubled down and started buffing already strong DPS picks like Hawkeye and Hela, characters no one was even complaining about. These kind of changes make the game feel unpredictable in the worst way. One patch, your favorite hero is unplayable. The next, they're cracked beyond reason. Like, did anyone ask for Punisher to get extra health and more damage? If Marvel Rivals wants a long-term competitive scene, the devs need to find a better middle ground. Right now, it's either full overkill or straight up neglect, and players are getting whiplash. Yo, can we please talk about how support ults and triple healer stalls are still out of control? One of the most frustrating aspects of Marvel Rivals right now is how easily support ultimates can stall objectives. If a team is struggling, it becomes a go-to strategy to stack 3 healers and just out-sustain everything. That alone says a lot. When the answer to every problem is, just add more healing, you know something's off. Luna Snow is one of the worst offenders here. She got more buffs and her ultimate can stall a point for up to 12 seconds on her own. Throw in a Loki to copy her, and suddenly you're looking at nearly 30 seconds of straight up stall with barely any risk. It's not fun to play against, and even worse, it feels completely unwinnable if your team doesn't have the tools to deal with it. Just when you think it's over, you hear Assemble! And on top of that, Ultron already has his ultimate backup to keep the cycle going too. We do hit a rough spot here. since you can't remove support ults, otherwise strong DPS and tank ults will just run over the game. I'd love to see what ideas you guys have in the comments as a potential fix to this problem. In my own opinion, I think we need some sort of healing falloff within these ults. Like if you're farther away from the center of Luna's ult, you don't receive as much healing. Something like that could help dial things back without making supports unplayable. Lastly, the game feels like it's missing something. This one's tough to pin down, because objectively speaking, Marvel Rivals is doing a lot of things right, more than most of our favorite games out there. The dev updates are consistent, and you can tell they're genuinely listening to the community, but still, something feels off. After so many patches and balance changes, it feels like we're stuck in a loop. Like the game is technically improving, but not evolving. Marvel Rivals needs something big, something that shakes the whole game up. Wipe the map pool clean and give us a fresh start. Give us meaningful community rewards, not just a badge that 9% of players never look at. Remember when you could get a free skin but just queuing with the streamer during an event? That stuff made the game feel alive. It made us feel involved. Right now, it feels like we're checking boxes instead of creating moments, and that's what the game's missing. The little things that make people log on just for the fun of it. I would love to hear more thoughts in the comments down below. If you liked the video, please like and subscribe. You know you want to. Feel free to pull up to my streams at twitch.tv/ehmftl. I'll see y'all in the next one.